Hey everybody, welcome to this Definitely Live broadcast.
Hello everybody, I'm Jaden. I'm a sophomore in computer science.
Heck yeah. I'm Diego. I'm a senior in computer science.
And I'm Arturo, I'm a first year grad student in ECE. Coming to you on the telethon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess the money we have fundraised at this moment is about like $2,000, it's gonna be $2,000.
We can dub over it.
We can dub over it. What else? Celeste would have already passed her test by now, so
Yeah.
that's your Aunt Celeste. And HSV would have already happened at this point, so hopefully HSV wasn't a firestorm. Hopefully everybody had fun. And hopefully you can hear us because we haven't really sound tested that much.
I think we sound tested a little.
Alrighty, to jump off on something, you guys want to talk about affirmative action or personal health? Pick between the two.
Damn, these are both heavy topics.
You have a choice. And we're going to start off talking about affirmative action. So my first kind of point on it is kind of felt a little, never really knew what it was until I got into college, really, and would hear it randomly come up. When we first came to college, when I came to college in like about 2017, politics was really popping off and affirmative action was a really big talking point for people. And it made me wonder, like, wow, did I get into ECE because I was Mexican? Who knows? Like, was it because of that factor? If I was white, would I have gotten in? It kind of made me think a little bit about my acceptance. I don't know about you guys. Did it ever cross your mind that had a factor? I actually don't know what the policy is at our school. If we have affirmative action, if they have any preference, or if it's blind.
I mean, I know I got a story of, I guess when I first got in, there were a lot of people who didn't get into CS from my high school, and almost as a defense mechanism, when I would let people know that I did make it in, I would make a joke that it'd be like, oh yeah, it's probably just because I'm Hispanic, stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm in a similar boat where, kind of what it is. I'm not really sure how it's implemented or the full ramifications, but I feel like if the goal is to increase like diversity in spaces that are hard to access for minorities, then it's worth it.
The way I see it is like sort of like, I feel like if you were like predominantly rich or white, like you already had sort of affirmative action like in the old system. So it's sort of just like leveling the playing field. If I get how I can make people feel bad if they are in those categories, because it's sort of like the spot you once had is sort of taken away from you, at least.
Is it even taken away though? Because like right now, if you look at the disparity between minorities in like ECE, CS, like just engineering as a whole, like it's really bad.
Yeah.
In terms, we have, I think, as a one individual Hispanic person, I'm one of like, greater than 1% I represent of all the Hispanics in CS. It's like 73 of us. In terms of black students, it's like even less than that. I think it's in the low 2 digits. But yeah, I guess I don't really know what affirmative action has really done.
I've been trying to find information on that online. It just kind of says that we want to support underrepresented ethnic groups, and I don't think they disclose it. I don't know if somebody can find it. It might be public because we're a public university, but my kind of take on it is it kind of reminds me of a point that a really old alumni back from my day made. His name is Pancho.
Pancho.
Yeah, Pancho's the man. He made a really good point one time. He said that the goal of SHIP one day is to not have SHIP, that there shouldn't be a need for SHIP. Yeah, it'd be really nice if there was still a social aspect and people still can group together based on their likeness, but the idea that we need a SHIP, the goal of SHIP is to remove that and to make sure that to get to the point where there's an equal playing field. And that kind of really hit home a little bit. And it's tough for me because I don't know the percentages. I don't know how they make those decisions in terms of how do we accept. I don't know if there's a quota that they have. And on the opposite side, I actually have a random aside point. There was the opposite kind of factor happening in the early 40s of America. I had no idea that they had quotas for universities for certain ethnic groups. I didn't know that there was a Jewish quota, like that you couldn't have at a university more than a certain number of Jewish people, or else you're filled for that year. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Richard Feynman, the really famous physicist, super genius from the 40s. He worked in the Manhattan Project, really famous educator. Either way, genius, got like the highest test scores and entrance exams for all these colleges, and he kept on getting rejected because they had reached the Jewish quota. And I read that in his bio, and I was like, that's incredible. Like that we were very, like, I always think that we weren't that anti-Semitic, considering we like to claim that we saved lives and we saved the Jewish people during World War II. We like to claim that a lot, but we had our own anti-Semitic laws here too. I had no idea. Kind of like that's something that's like kind of like swept under the rug that you really don't get to hear.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the bad parts of. I mean, I guess this is another side tangent, but I feel like there's a lot of American exceptionalism that's taught in like public schools, where it's like we're always on the good side of things, and very rarely do they focus on like, hey, you know, we've messed up too. And there's a lot of, I feel like, coming out of school and broadening those horizons a little bit has really opened eyes to like, hey, you know, not, or like a lot of the things we do as a country are really not good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're far from egalitarian. And any Chicago CPS kid will tell you how messed up the education system is. It's a complete war just to get to a decent high school. It's literally Hunger Games style type of battle to beat your peers, to get to only like 4 schools that you can travel an hour and a half every morning there and back to get a decent education. It's pretty messed up, but. One day I hope we get to good, at least educational equality. That'd be really nice. Everybody has an 100% equal opportunity to get into any profession they like. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Any other points on affirmative action before we move?
I guess sort of like going off to that education thing, sort of like at what point do you like stop censoring like education, like how like we discuss history, or like even like Don't Say Gay Bill, or like
yeah, that's new.
I just feel like as the way like we approach like education in the United States, it's more about like, I guess like, it's not even about learning. I don't even know the point of it. Like, what do you guys see the point of it? Because like, I feel like there's like a lot of states I know, like in Iowa, like they have trouble hiring teachers and getting resources. So it's like they're only meeting for like 3 out of the 5 school days. So like, at like what point like is the purpose of going to school? I don't know. I mean, there's clearly a purpose, but like, I don't know. I feel like it's made out to be more than what it is offered right now, if that makes sense.
Quick point on the Don't Say Gay Bill. That was in Florida, right? And it's something about the teachers cannot talk about sexuality to kids under a certain age, correct? I don't know. I forget the grades, but I think that was the bill, right?
Yeah. So I think it was like from ages 3 to 5. Like
that's nutty.
I mean, pre-K to 3rd grade, and then like specifically you can't mention sexual orientation, and then after 3rd grade, I believe it's like very vague. It's like you can't mention anything that isn't age appropriate in the school system. So that's very like open to interpretation of whoever. So I think that was like also the biggest concern, because it's like gives basically the power like to sue based on like what you think is inappropriate.
That's a tough one, man. They really can sell that as like the conservatives who made that bill pass. They can sell that a lot of ways and say that we're trying to have equal opportunity or equal representation by not having anybody have representation, but that doesn't make sense, because heterosexual people are the vast majority, and so when you ignore everybody else and say we can't talk about you, you don't exist, especially at those young ages, it's just not good. I don't think it's a healthy practice. I think everybody should have the freedom to communicate anything they need to, and it should be up to parents to tell the teachers if they feel okay with it or not too, right? That communication should happen. And it's the complete opposite in Scandinavia. It's like Scandinavia is one of the most best examples of egalitarian countries, man. They're 100% open to anything. I know there's a lot of protection over gender identity and sexual orientation. So hopefully we can get to there one day. I mean, that's all I really had to say on that. Cool. Any other last points on education before we move on? Y'all good?
College should be free.
College should be free, yes.
I mean,
College will be free by the time this hits your guys' laptops.
Jackie, see it?
2 weeks, it will be free.
They extended the pause on student loan payments until August again, but it's like that's such a toast milk approach, where it's like it does nothing, or milk toast. Sorry, not toast. It does nothing, and I feel like they should really start canceling student debt, and at a minimum, like community college should be free. But if you're as a government investing in your people and the education of your people is like one of the smartest things you can do, and you want to give them as much access as possible to educate themselves.
Exactly. I mean, one conversation I had that kind of stuck out on that was I took a pure charter bus back to Chicago one time next to a guy, an international student from, he was Dutch, so what is that, the Netherlands?
Mm.
And he described to me how in the Netherlands, they pay maximum about $2,000 a year for their college. It's maximum. $2,000. And he told me when he compared our school to his school on the world rankings, we're only off by I think his school's only behind by a couple spots, like 2 or 3 spots. But he's only paying $2,000 for what we have to pay. What is it, like $30,000?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And that's part of him having the benefit of being in a socialist country where the government is set up that way to support people to do whatever they want.
But they probably don't have a team of people whose job it is to only drive around the football team in little golf carts. So I think that's pretty necessary.
That's the trade-off of capitalism, right? We get the extremes on both ends. We get the most extravagance and also the most poverty. And back on that ranking list, do you guys know how U.S. News, the most credited news ranking website out there, do you know how the actual rankings work? I had listened to a podcast on this. Malcolm Gladwell, awesome podcast, Revisionist History. It's a great podcast. He went over how the ranking system actually works, and it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Basically, it's a secret, right? It's a formula they don't want people to know. But there was this university of research. There was these researchers at Cornell, or some college in California, I forget, that tried to reverse engineer the list by coming up with a formula of what they think it could be, and then seeing what spits out, right? See if the top 100 schools they have equals the top 100 schools that the list spits out every year. And of course, you've got multiple years of lists that you can test your data on. Either way, they figured out basically what the equation was. And you want to know what the number one factor for your ranking is?
What?
Reputation. And how reputation is calculated is, you would think who do they ask for reputation? They get, I think, the 3 top people at every college to rank everybody in their their college category. So they asked 3 people at U of I. They asked the chancellor, the provost, and maybe a couple deans. I forget who the actual people are, but top people. They say on a scale of 1 to 5, rank all the schools that you're related to in your area. They rank a 1 to 5. That's what they do for everybody. They're like Harvard 5, MIT 5, and they go down. And that every year the email gets sent out. They all do it, and that's what the biggest chunk. I forget the percentage from the podcast, but a significant chunk of your reputation is that. And that's incredible. It's insane. And so people are starting to figure this out. And a lot of universities are trying to game the system. They want to, because ranking is everything. That's how.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be, but it is how companies hire. It's how they pay. It really is based on that. It's how a lot of research grants get allocated to. They get allocated to the top 25 universities, whatever it may be. And I think it's messed up. I think that's very archaic. And I think there should be I mean, the idea of a list is pretty archaic too. So there has to be something subjective to make something subjective, I guess, right? But I would at least like some more democracy than 3 people at a college saying 1 to 5.
That's pretty messed up. I don't know about that.
Yeah, and on that podcast, he asked one of the people, one of the provosts or deans, whatever, anonymously, like, do you know every college that you're reviewing? And he says, to be honest with you, some schools, I was like, okay, I've had coffee there one time. I liked the campus. I know some professors there. 3, and that's how he grades. So if they have that little care, I can't imagine. Like, it must be so terrible for schools out there that are trying to build their reputation, do the right thing, but there's just this archaic system blockading them from getting up the ladder.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up stuff.
I guess my question is, what would you guys propose?
To fix that,
Yeah, like how would you rank schools?
the objective stuff, I guess, is research paper citations, I think, and grants. I think that's something that's already in the formula. I don't know if they should weigh that more or not, but that's an objective thing that I like on the formula. Of course, it kind of like still promotes the people at the top, still get to be at the top, but I think that's a pretty objective thing I like to keep. What about you? What factors do you think should matter in a ranking?
I feel like job attainment after graduation is kind of
Okay,
important.
I see that.
Like, unfortunately, we live in a like system where if you don't work, like, you're subject to no housing or food, or like, if you don't have a support system underneath you and you're not working, like, you die basically.
Yeah.
So the point of school for a lot of people has become to find a job, you know, and that's how I see it too. It's like to give myself the education to be able to get a job so that I can subsist for the rest of my life, you know, continue living. And I feel like that should be a pretty important factor. Ideally, you know, if you have all the bases covered by like the government, you've got like guaranteed housing, you know, universal basic income, and like all the base needs of a person are met, and then people can choose to go further if they want. You know, I feel like education or higher level education could be for things that aren't necessarily job dependent. And I mean, it is now, you know, some people don't work until like go into the work that they do or that they get an education in, but like, I think it's really cool that I can take a class in grilling, you know, stuff like that. And
Grilling? Like
grilling. I took
barbecue?
grilling lesson. Yeah.
You took a barbecue class?
I took a barbecue class. It was online.
Online barbecue?
I had to buy a barbecue, and then
That's what we're paying. That's what we're paying for, guys.
every Sunday night I'd be forgetting my assignment, and I'm like, oh man, it's like 11:50. I forgot to barbecue. I go into whatever's in our kitchen, and throw some hot dogs on the grill, some pineapple, take a little video of myself grilling it, upload it.
You could cheat that pretty easy too, I guess.
I mean, at the end of the day though, I got food out of it, so I don't think I cheated many
You learn,
assignments.
and you only
Yeah.
learn.
I did well in the class, I think. I learned how to grill some pineapples. I think that was my favorite thing to grill.
Cool.
But yeah, ideally, you could just do that for the sake of doing it, as opposed to I'm going to school here to get a job, you know, like that's the ultimate end goal. But if people could just better themselves, or like not necessarily have to narrow that scope down, and like that's why I'm here for 4 years only, is because my scholarships run out after 4 years, you know. So, you know, who knows? I might have stayed here longer or do more stuff, maybe a minor, some other things. But
Right.
yeah.
I
that's
think-
yeah.
I think in a perfect world, there'd be a measure of, there'd be a perfect test to see how happy somebody is.
Mhm.
And on this college ranking formula, a big weight of it should be how happy are graduates after graduating.
Okay, there you go. There
In
you
a
go.
perfect world, that'd be awesome. See how happy they are.
If we're getting into perfect world stuff, I feel like we should be able to have like bigger breaks on like the times I enjoy myself the most on campus are like right at the beginning or at the end, when there's just a little break and it's like there's no classes but you're still here with all your friends. Like, I love the campus environment. I love the people that I'm around.
100%.
I hate classes. It just
100%.
I don't know if the workload is too much or if it's just like,
Well, on that, I mean, I've heard a lot of professors say this to me. Like, the reason we go to college is not to learn. It's not. It's for the experience. We pay premium in the United States because the United States has an exceptionally known college experience that we've created here, this culture.
Mm-hmm.
We pay for that experience. We don't do it to learn. It's not the most, I don't think it's the most efficient way to learn. Half the stuff, yes, we do significant foundational work so that way when we actually get to a job, we can build off from that and learn on site. But we pay mainly for that experience. I think COVID taught us that. Like, you don't have to be physically at a place to learn.
I still charge the same.
They charge the exact same every single
They'll
time.
make their money.
But yeah, man, I mean, maybe that makes people rethink education, and that's probably why all these online universities are blowing up right now, because people are realizing you don't need to be in person.
Mm-hmm. There's also the 2-year coding boot camps. Have you seen those?
Those are booming right now, and a lot of them. When I was in California, I saw so many of them. There's a lot of my cousins would be like, "Yeah, man, I didn't go to school. I went to coding boot camp," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever."
Yeah.
But apparently, it's popping off. People are hiring.
Yeah. So I mean, you literally just sit down and learn coding for 2 years, or sometimes less time, and then some of them have guaranteed job where it's like.
Yeah. Well, those are kind of. You know the system how it works. It's like they, like you said, guaranteed job with the company, but certain percent of your salary goes to them to pay it off.
No way.
What?
So like, let's say they charge you $30,000 a year for the boot camp. It's 2 years. They get you a guaranteed job as soon as you graduate or pass the course, whatever, and they take 30% of your paycheck every paycheck for like maybe 3 years, whatever, how long it is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's not the worst situation for a lot of people who are super busy and they can't afford college outright like the way it is now. I mean,
It sucks
kind
that
of a
that's a
solution.
good deal though. That's like it could work for some people. That's tragic, you know.
Hey, that makes us feel like suckers, huh? Makes us feel like suckers.
But yeah.
Goodness.
Should we do a lighthearted topic? I feel that was kind of serious.
Yeah.
So, next topic, favorite ship memory. You're kind of new to ship, Jaden. You're what, a sophomore?
Yeah.
And you're joining this year on RT.
Yeah.
I've been in ship for 5 years, so I've got a couple memories. I guess I could go first. One that comes off the top of my dome is my HSV in 2017 when half the kids were like in 8th grade. But yeah, my HSV was a lot of fun. One memory that really comes off, let me think. In general, just all the people that I met, I still remember almost every activity to this day, and it's been almost like 5 years. You know, so many people in this that were there. Leo, Sitlali, her brother, I got Andy, rest in peace, Rose was there. Elliot was there. Yeah, it was just it was a great blast, and it really did. I think it was one of the best things for me coming into college, knowing that there's people here that are really cool. They're all Latinos, they're all engineers, and they're all kicking butt, and that's really nice. That's something nice to come into college knowing, I think.
Yeah.
Pass it off to Diego. What your favorite memories are?
Going off of that, I think having that example of people that were already here was really beneficial to me. But I'm trying to think of you're right. It's just so many different memories. It's hard to pick one. But
Any ShipCon memories that are really getting you going?
I've been to 2 ShipCons actually. I would say that the first Partiendo Pan that we did way back my freshman year, I feel like it was towards the start of second semester, and we were in the Union, one of the higher rooms up there, and I know a lot of us freshmen kind of had no idea what it was going to be going into it, and being able to, I was not doing well all that semester. It was a train wreck for me. So being able to go up there and kind of like open myself up in a way that I hadn't really before, you know, and talk to these people that I met who were my friends, but I feel like that really kind of helped solidify some of those relationships there, and then seeing other people do the same, it felt like something had changed for sure after that, you know, where it was like, for the better obviously, but it was like like these were all people that I knew from ship, but then after that, it became a little bit more than that. You know, it became that familiar
Yeah.
aspect where people can tell their stories and open up in a safe environment. You know, that's not something that I've had with friends before. So I think that was pretty impactful. Yeah.
Super nice. Jenny, you got one going?
Yeah. So sort of similar to Diego, like I guess like that moment for me was like the RT leadership retreat. Just like I guess that was the first time I felt like I finally felt like a community while coming into college. And it was just like nice to be able to open up as well. Sort of like it just changed and it became more like that family.
No, I mean, I think what we have here is pretty special and unique. Like other clubs on campuses don't have this. Other ship chapters, no shade, no tea, no shade. I just think what we have here is pretty special, you know. And the fact that we're always trying to continue to improve it, I think it's been something really cool. Being able to see it grow over the past 4 years, it's been something special. Yeah.
Big shout out to the class of 2020 that threw my RT retreat. That was so much fun. They went off on that. We had a lot of laughs. One more circle back ship memory, really funny. My first ship con was in Cleveland, whatever that year that was, 2018, I think.
It was 2018, yeah.
One night, so the first night we get there, everything's like super excited. You're like, whoa, what is ShipCon, whatever. Like you go pick up your package, your bag, everything. You come back, everything's pretty hectic. It's late at night. Everybody's doing homework, studying for interviews, whatever it is. It's a really nice environment in the lobby of the hotel. People from all different ship chapters too. So I'm meeting a lot of people, saying hi, whatever. But I was really hungry, and there's no food anywhere. And I would look on my phone. I was like, okay, the closest spot is a gas station a couple blocks away. A couple blocks away. It was more like 5 or something. It was pretty far. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put on my running shoes, go run out. I'll pass the Cleveland Indian Stadium. You know, see where the Cubs won, and then keep going through and go get some food at the gas station. I get to the gas station, but mind you, I ran without my phone. And I left everything at the desk in the hotel lobby. I said, I'm going to go get some food. I'll be back. And everyone was kind of like, are you sure you're going out alone? It's dark. It's night. It's Cleveland. You okay? I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'll go. And at the gas station, I get my stuff, you know, my favorite snacks. And I spring up conversation with this young man who turns out to be the owner of the gas station. And we end up talking, like, no joke, for like 30 minutes about entrepreneurship, engineering while we're there, ShipCon, all these kind of things, the interview I had tomorrow, all this kind of stuff. It was a great conversation. At the end of it, he let me keep my, he didn't let me pay or anything like that. I took all the stuff for free. And then he's like, hey man, where's your hotel at? I was like, oh, it's so-and-so over there, a couple blocks away. And he's like, let me drive you. And he comes and goes around the corner, comes out in a all black, matte black Audi R8. I'm telling you,
Damn.
Audi R8. I could not see the car come out of where he pulled it out of. That's how black this car was. It was so pretty, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get killed or something. I don't know. I was so scared, but I was like, I got to. The car has a laptop inside the car. I was like, I gotta sit down in this thing.
You got to.
And he takes me on a joyride through Cleveland. We didn't come back to the hotel for maybe another 20 minutes. He's hitting like 80 miles an hour. Either way, all this is happening. It's almost an hour since I've been gone. They're freaking out at the hotel.
Oh.
They think I died. So I forget who exactly went out to look for me, but Antonio, Rivera, a bunch of other people started looking for me. I'm like, where is this guy? They're running in the alleys of Cleveland looking for me, thinking I got killed. I come back to the hotel, and they wanted to kill me. They want to take my head off, this and that. I'm like, but I have free snack. It's all good. Kumbaya, we can be kumbaya together. It's okay. So the free snacks helped a little bit, but they hated me. They hated me for that one.
Oh, that's a crazy story.
Yeah. Anybody else got another one we can circle back to?
I'm gonna talk, or you guys got me thinking about the freshman year leadership retreats. Mine was a blast too. That also felt like another solidifying step for like the friends that I've made here at SHIP. But so just some of the things that were distinct about it. I'm never gonna forget Juan, man. They just put us all in La Casa, and it was an overnight thing back then. It wasn't just like a 1 day thing, and they would have it the Friday of the first Friday of spring break. We would all stay on campus, and then everyone leaves Saturday.
Which I thought was gonna be the lamest thing ever too, by the way.
Oh,
I thought-
dude.
when they told me we're gonna stay during the first day of spring break, I'm like, get out of here. I don't want to do this.
I know some people who just didn't go because of that reason.
Yeah, I was
They're
like, miss me with that. I'm like,
yeah. No, but that first night was a blast. We had to improvise music videos
Yep.
to just songs. They would like let us loosen up. I said, like, we'll find a room and then just practice this. And, okay, we had a whole routine. I think we did. I don't remember what we did. What the song was specific. Oh, it was "Power" by Kanye. And then I don't know if we can play it because of the copyright. I don't know if that's what we're going to do. But
copyright? Who's gonna copyright what?
it's a Twitch stream. You gotta.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on Twitch. Shout out! I'm a Twitch streamer.
We're live right now. The chat better be blowing up.
I'm waiting for the donation.
But yeah, and then people did Moana. That was big at the time. And that night we ended up staying up super late. Everyone just crashed in different places around La Casa. Like we ended up sleeping on a random couch. But then the next morning, Juan comes around with this bullhorn and he just blasts Baby Shark, bro. And he was going into people's ears like, wake up, we got events planned. And like, I love him. I love Juan. But that moment is seared into my
Juan
brain.
Cepeda?
Yeah, Cepeda. Juan Cepeda Jr. Shout out.
Big shout out.
Yeah.
Dono. He's got a dono now. We got them in the shout out. Juan, you got to throw in at least 50. He's full time now.
Oh, he's full time. He's got it like that.
He's got the salary now. He's got to send it in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys also do the trivia dinner?
A trivia dinner?
Our cooking class thing that they did?
Yes.
That
Oh
was-
my god.
This is something we got to bring it back for the next RTs because I think it's like if you can agree, it's like the HSV experience for people that didn't do HSV.
Truly, because I didn't do HSV and that felt like the type of.
It's so much fun. So we don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil what the.
I think we can talk about it.
Oh, because the RT kids won't be
Yeah,
watching this.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So say it.
So basically, I had forgotten about this. You reminded me of that.
Hilarious, awesome icebreaker, fun.
Yeah. So every team has to bake a cake, basically.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it was I think we had to do cakes. Yeah. And then you have a set of ingredients. And you have to make the recipe on your own, but you can get advantages or disadvantages based on whether or not you answer trivia questions correctly.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
And
it's funnier than seeing people have to eat a raw egg.
Eat a raw egg was one of them. Or you like choose the team to eat a raw egg if you answer it right.
Egg somebody.
I think that was Antonio that tanked the egg. Someone chose his team and he was like, okay.
Put that salad seasoning in somebody's cake, something like that.
Yeah, you get to throw ingredients in other people's. Sometimes you get different ingredients, but I know our cake was going terribly. It was just not going well for us. And then all of a sudden, oh man, I don't remember who answered the question, but someone on my team clutched up. And then they said, they had answered the question correct, and it was the bonus we got was switch your cake out with someone else's. And then there was one team who had been killing it the entire time. This is like the last one. They've been killing it the entire time. Of course we switched it out for them. I think they had a monopoly on sugar or something like that.
Oh.
Or they're the only ones who could use it.
Geopolitical conflict at the
real. But yeah, and then we ended up like decorating and baking. We had to present it in front of judges. A lot of fun.
Bring it back. What is there a reason we didn't do it over the weekend?
I think it might have gotten lost, and because my sophomore year when we were planning the one for the juniors currently, that all got canceled because of COVID, and we had to slap one together like an EH. We actually did do a cook. It was like make. It wasn't quite baking something, but it was like just find like. Use ingredients you can find in EH to make something.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Someone had used this. We had mayonnaise at that point.
Labrat.
Huh?
Elaborate.
Yeah. They had mayonnaise. I think they sprinkled like some chocomilk or something like that, and then it looked terrible. David Ortiz knows about this the most because we were judging, and then he said,
David, shout out. You got to put down.
Shout out David. Yeah. But no, it ended up actually being like really good.
Oh,
David and I
tasted
both ate
good?
it. Yeah, we
ate
tasted it.
We
yeah.
never ate anything we cooked. I did not trust anything. It was a health hazard, the stuff we cooked. Ridiculous. We're gonna bring it back.
Yeah, we just had like the spaghetti tower and that was it, which was
The
fun.
marshmallow
But,
spaghetti?
yeah, but like cooking a cake sounds so much more fun.
Dude, it was wild. It was wild.
I can't even do it legit. I can't even do it with the resources. I can't imagine.
For real. I need that like pre-made mix. You just add water or something. But yeah, oh, good memories. Good memories. Anything you're looking forward to, Jade? I know you got here shortly, so you might see like more things ahead. You're like, I'm excited for this.
I guess I'm looking forward to ShiftCon next year.
Okay.
Going into it, yeah.
Yeah.
ShipCon, which is in North Carolina, I think, right?
Yeah, I think that one.
Wilmington?
One of the Carolinas.
Shout out Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, you got to put down 500 down below. Cool. I mean, I really want to get to personal health. This is something I really want to hit
That's
on.
fair. Yeah. This is a big topic on
I'm
here.
one of those people that are very obsessed with finding out how modern day society is messing up our personal health and how we can be so much better. And how there's so much stuff crippling us at the moment in our day.
I'm very much an ignorance is bliss kind of person. So, what are some of the hit me with like the most grabbing things that like you feel would immediately convince me that I need to look into this more? You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of research that's being blocked or not funded or covered up into reversing myopia naturally, nearsightedness.
Okay.
So it's so basically nearsightedness, for people who don't know, the main causes that at least that I know of nearsightedness are there's environmental and then there's genetic. Genetic is not as strong as environmental. Environmental is like, I don't know what share, but definitely the vast majority, maybe 80% of the reasons why people have glasses. For environmental factors, it's kids not getting enough sunlight when their certain eye muscles are developing. So sunlight is actually a big thing. UV rays, getting the right UV rays on your body, getting the right hormones and the dopamines being released. Besides sunlight, close quarters work, prolonged close quarters work, because your eye is a really beautiful muscle that adjusts. It adjusts what you're looking at. If you're looking up close, it'll fix the lenses, correct the focal length, so that way you're in focus for something super up close. And then it adjusts, if you have a healthy eye, it adjusts for things that are far away, right? Mm-hmm. And at a young age, your body's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Elastic, placid, or like, what is the word? Like very malleable.
Yeah.
That whatever you do, it sticks, but you can also undo it very fast. So if your kid starts to get nearsighted, it's almost just as fast to get them on nearsighted, to regular 20/20 vision. And that's something they don't want you to know, because the eye doctors don't want you to know this, the optometrists, because that cuts directly into their whole profession. But to reverse it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of effort, and I think that's the main reason people don't talk about it, is because it's something people don't see as reasonable. Mm-hmm. That you would have to not wear glasses, not wear contacts, and progressively read at distances you're not 100% blurry, not 100% in focus, but in that region that you're in the blur. And if you work in that blur region with reading, with your laptop, whatever it may be, and if you're a kid, getting sunlight and getting sunlight, make sure you have a good diet too, because your diet actually affects your eyesight a lot too. If you eat like crap, your eyesight's gonna go to crap. So it's a lot of work, but you can reverse myopia, especially at a young age when your whole body's so malleable. And I think that's something people should know, because me personally, everybody can agree. Would you rather have glasses or not have glasses? If it's something I can save money on and be more convenient not having, I would rather have my kids or myself not have it. So that's why I think it's important people know this.
I personally like glasses.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like
God.
glasses have become
Then you can get the no prescription
a bit
ones.
more of
You can
But
get-
then that just feels like a phony, you know, like you're.
Why do you like glasses though?
Why?
Yeah.
You got some good looking
They're
glasses.
just like comfort.
Well, you don't like them for the reason that they can help you see. You like them for the aesthetics. That's what's wrong with just having the no prescription.
No, because then it helps. I like the look of glasses. But because I don't need them, I don't think I haven't bought a pair of non-prescription. You know, well, sometimes I feel like I could rock it. You know,
Okay.
is it a stigma of people that wear non-prescription glasses?
No, I mean like I feel like people do it all the time, especially like now. But
Definitely more popular than it was before. Sometimes the blue lights.
Oh, so I learned about blue light too. So
Oh, this man's about to tell us
It's
something
fake.
about blue light.
right?
blue light, from what I've heard from an optometrist, so I know I'm going back and forth to optometrist.
The optometrist won't tell you about reversing myopia.
But what they'll tell you about blue light is that the main factor it doesn't really contribute to myopia or nearsightedness. It contributes more to the hormonal imbalance that you have and your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
So the issue is that there's blue light everywhere. Blue light is blue light. So the sky, there's so much blue light. Anything that generates blue light, there's so much blue light. The issue is that your body's so used to seeing blue light and thinking, oh, it's time to be up, it's time to wake up, it's the sky, let's get after it.
Mhm.
So if you expose yourself to a lot of blue light before bed, like your screens, your phone, or whatever, that could throw off your rhythm. And so like the optometrist says, on all his devices, he's got the nightshade.
Yeah.
The nightshade, as soon as there's no more light outside, he's got the nightshade going, and it makes the screen. It removes all the blue light.
Yeah, it makes it
and
all yellow.
He hasn't really. I mean, it's one of those things that are subtle, but I think they make a difference, right? It could be one of those things that, like, if you get these little things right in your personal health, it can make you feel a lot better. So I feel like everybody should look into putting on the nightshade on their devices, and you can get blue light glasses if you like. Apparently, they help a lot of people.
I had them at one point when I was the first summer I was working. Someone I knew a couple years older than me gave me this pair. I was like, oh, these are pretty helpful.
Do you use them?
Not anymore, but I have.
He uses them so he can look cool with a non-prescription.
I mean, I like the way they look, but I know having the night mode on, you can also install it on like computers too, and it's cool. Sometimes you can just like turn it off and on, or like you just do like a one key to see the difference. And at night, or I feel like I don't catch it in the transition, but then at night, like I might turn it off, and it sears into your eyes a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
It's
okay.
like it burns in there.
I should look into. I don't have a pair. I don't put the nightshade on my laptop, but I do it on my phone. I should do that.
Yeah.
I should look into it.
F.Lux is a good app for that.
Oh yeah.
F dot what?
Lux.
Lux. Like
Yeah, like LUX.
LUX. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I used
Nice.
that a lot back in high school.
While we're on the eyes, I also learned that the main reason we have dark circles on our eyes. Do you guys know why we have dark circles on our eyes?
No.
The blood vessels underneath our eyes are so sensitive that when we're tired and we do a lot of pressure on them to clear out our eyes and try to wake them up and kind of stimulate the nerves in our eyes, because that's what happens when you get tired. The pressure on this part of your lid of your face, you start to pop and bruise your blood vessels,
Oh wow.
and so you can drastically reduce the bags in your eyes if you just stop rubbing your eyes and stop putting pressure like this.
It's a big change though.
It's a big what?
It's a big change.
Oh my goodness. To stop, but I think I've done it less, in my opinion. I don't really measure my circles, though. You can. It's kind of hard to self-measure.
Yeah.
But maybe they've been going down since I learned that fact.
My mom came to visit for Mom's weekend, and then the first morning she gets there, she looks at me and is like, "Wow, you got no sleep last." This is the first thing my mom says to me. I'm just like, no, I love my mom. She's the best, but she kept it real with me in that moment. No. I'll keep that in mind though. I feel like that's not a super hard adjustment.
Cool.
Just rub my eyes less.
Cool.
Do like a little tempo.
All right.
I also heard that like if you rub your eyes too much, it can be bad, especially if you have like dry eyes or high air pressure in them. Like I think like
Air pressure in the eye?
yeah. Or
I never heard
something.
about that, but that's cool.
I didn't know there's air pressure in my eye.
Or
Is it
some sort
sealed?
of pressure.
Yeah,
but
it's
like you
sealed,
kind of,
right?
You're right. It is a sealed shape. Maybe there's definitely air being in there. That's okay.
I know pressure can build up in the eyes sometimes.
So if you climb too high in terms of altitude, your eyes pop.
Wouldn't that be? Oh yeah, and the pressure inside
Or too low
is
in
a
the
lot more
ocean.
than the pressure outside. Does that ever happen to you guys, like on a plane? With like a water bottle?
With the water bottle?
With a water bottle?
No.
Okay, you guys know the water bottles, like the oh man, it's the ones that people. I feel like they were really popular in high school, where like you push the thing and then the little lid flips up. Not Camelback, but something like that.
Yeah, I know the Camelback.
Yeah. So that's pressurized in there. You know, it creates a seal. One time in high school, I was on a plane, and then I had that type of water bottle. You push the button, and the little spout comes up, and you drink from it. I had filled it up with water right before I got on the plane. I get on the plane, and I don't drink for a while. And after one point, I take it out, and then I hit the button, and then a stream of water just comes out. It literally lands on someone's laptop a row in front of me.
It does?
It does, dude. Thankfully, it didn't land on the keyboard, just landed on like this little
What?
area. But bro, I was so just like
I would have said it was
embarrassed.
the plane leaking. It was not me. It was the rain outside the plane.
For real. But now every time I get on a plane with a water bottle, I make sure to like just unscrew the lid a little bit and let the pressure out. And I was like, okay.
Good, now we all know too.
Yeah.
We all know too. The guy or girl wasn't mad that
No, thankfully. At least not that I remember.
you spilled their laptop.
Mhm.
I would have been something different. That's why you got to get a plastic cover on your keyboard.
Bro, I try those, but it leaves the marks on the...
Yeah.
It's not like my screen is clean anyway, but I don't like the marks on my screen.
Sacrifice we got to make.
I had a cool one once that it had keyboard commands on there. So you could see what the keyboard commands are.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Unlock the full potential of your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
I got another one for you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Air quality and how it affects your brain function. You guys know how important air quality is to your brain function? I
Mhm.
didn't. Apparently, I think a congested room, so let's say your bedroom, that you don't leave all day, you don't open any windows, you don't open any doors. It's like your bedroom, all that air that you've kind of generated and haven't let escape, a very congested room like that can reduce brain function by 15%. And I know the study was pretty subjective because what is brain function, but apparently it was measured by tests, like people taking different academic tests, and they found that there's a certain parts per million that if you graph parts per million in the air, the brain functionality goes down for people. And the concerning bit is pollution, right? We're getting all this stored carbon that's supposed to be in the ground is coming up into our atmosphere, and this is polluting our atmosphere to the point where even places that are you would think that there's no pollution. There's no pollution in Alaska, or there's no pollution in the middle of there's pollution in the ocean, but you would think the air in Alaska would be perfectly fine and free from this, but because it isn't though, because there's so much pollution now, that worldwide we're seeing a parts per million increase that could affect our brain functionality. Imagine that, the study that I saw said, I think by 2060, it would go to parts per million are projected to go up to the level that at the number of a congested room. So our brain functionality, in theory, across the world, doesn't matter if you're in Alaska, doesn't matter if you're in Chicago, should go down 15%. And that's something that I don't hear it get talked about. I don't get nothing about how the air is affecting our brain functionality. So I wonder, man, maybe in the future there's gonna be a premium for clean air. I think there's gonna be a lot of things in the future.
Some space
There's
balls.
gonna be a lot of things that we didn't think would there'd be a market for, but clean water that has no plastics.
Thing, yeah.
I think clean water that has no plastics or chemicals or contaminants, and clean air. Then there's gonna be premiums. Only the fanciest restaurants have it. Only the fanciest homes have clean, recycled air, et cetera, et cetera. That's gonna be something we have to worry about
Yeah.
and look out for.
Have you guys heard about, apparently, sometimes, after an emergency, they'll put someone, or, say, in a fire, they'll put someone on, the full oxygen tank?
Right?
Yeah, I've heard that, obviously, take out, whatever traumatic situation they ended up there. If you're just a regular person and you end up going on that oxygen tank, a lot of times you can think clear, or, it just being on that pure oxygen. Oh, this is very. I saw this once in online or so. Don't take this as fact. Pinch of salt.
No. Catch me before a test. I'm gonna be huffing and puffing the O2. I'll be right there.
I've heard that it can help. I feel like that's.
I'll be right there.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how that works out.
One freaky thing I heard from a Malcolm Gladwell book. I'm a big Malcolm Gladwell fan. Shout out Malcolm Gladwell. You gotta download down below. Proportional to how much you make. He in his book he talked about one really cool thing is that they studied, a bunch of psychologists at some universities studied how suggestive thinking could affect people, and subjective feeding, like feeding information to people in a certain way that you want to feed them. So for example, they had a bunch of random test subjects walk down a hallway, come to the testing room, answer a bunch of questions, and then walk down the hallway to leave. And this is pretty subjective again, I know, but psychology is pretty subjective. That they in one big group of people, they use a lot of the words that we would associate with youth. So like fast, not directly, but in the conversation that was not related at all. They used the words fast, young, new. They use a lot of these suggestive words. But they were talking about something else. I don't know what they were testing them for, but and then in the other group, they put a lot of the opposite words in: old, slow, etc., aching, all these words, and they fit them in. And they measured the walking speed of people to the room, to the testing room, and returning out of the testing room. And they saw a direct, measurably noticeable difference in the walking speed. People walked significantly faster when they heard the new, young, suggestive words, and significantly slower than the average when they heard the old, whatever, aching words. And so I think that's pretty cool how the mind can be so malleable to some, like there's so many things in our subconscious world that we don't know are affecting us. That's why I give credence and some credit to people that are like, yo man, you're putting out bad vibes, or you're putting out the wrong aura, or something like that. I kind of believe it a little bit more with that, because I do think there's a lot of subjective things that you can do that you don't know you have an effect on people that make a difference. Mm-hmm. And the reason I brought it up, sorry, last thing.
No, you're good.
The reason I brought it up is because in that chapter, he talked about how they had a bunch of people take a test, just random academic test. I think it was an IQ test. And one group of people, they asked them to not think about anything, or not to do anything at all, just take the test, the neutral control. The other group of people, they asked them, okay, we're going to ask you for 15 minutes, write a story as if you were a hooligan, like a soccer hooligan. So just like this is England, I'm guessing. So it's basically like you're like a thug on the streets. Like you're a kid who doesn't really have a job. You're just like, you're a goon, right? So write a story like that for 15 minutes. And then they asked them to take the IQ test. Other group, they asked them, now you're a professor. Now you're a professor at some university. Write a story for 15 minutes. And then they took the test. They found significant measurable differences in the groups. The people who thought they were professors, or they were writing as if they were professors, had significantly greater test scores than the people that thought they were just street thugs, which I think is really cool to think that that's a possibility, that putting yourself in a mindset can actually have an effect on how you perform. I think that's really sick to think. So right before a test, I'm going to be huffing and puffing air and talking like a professor for a couple hours.
Okay, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Have you heard about like the Stanford experiment?
Oh yeah, the prison experiment?
Yeah, that sort of reminded me of that.
Oh, case in point, right? That's why anybody who makes fun of psychology, I get really angry. You don't understand how complex the human brain is. We don't understand it at all. Not a single bit. It's its own science that we do. It's really hard to map.
Yeah.
And do you want to explain the Stanford prison experiment for people that don't know?
Oh yeah, so I guess like they basically took participants, and like some of them were cops and some of them were prisoners. And then if you were a prisoner, they didn't even tell you. They just like went to your house and arrested you like in public. And then like they took you to a basement in like Stanford. And then basically they played it out. And it was so bad because like the people adapted to their roles so well that they had to cancel it earlier because like the prisoners were like getting mentally distraught and stuff.
Yeah. And there's a really good movie on it too, if anybody wants to see it. I forget that. I think it's on Netflix. But that's why a lot of psychologists say you can't say that Nazi Germany or any of those atrocities is inhuman or impossible, will never happen again, or we should treat them like monsters. It's humanity, man. We are very confusing people. We can do some amazing things, and we can do some really messed up things. I think we're so malleable to our environments. You never know.
You guys hear about the Milgram experiment?
Which one?
The Milgram experiment?
No.
It's one where they shock people.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so basically they had...
MK Ultra, is that one?
No. That's something else. That's a whole other podcast. No, the Milgram experiment is where they had essentially 2 rooms. You had the test subject in one room, and then an authority figure who's like running the test, and then a third person behind a wall where they could still hear. And essentially, you had the I might be missing some of the details on this. Let me actually see. But yeah, basically they would tell you to hit the button, and then you would hear them audibly yell as if they were getting shocked.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and then the authority figure would keep doing it to a greater degree, and the obviously it was fake. The person was not getting shocked. They were just kind of acting. But they would the experiment was to see to what degree they would obey authority while it was harming someone else.
Yeah, man, and it kind of pushed people to. I know for that test there were some surprising results, right? There was people on both sides of the spectrum.
I know people went pretty far with it. I know at some point. Let me
That's
see.
like the trolley question, that famous one. I think it's called the trolley question, where you had to decide, should I move a trolley that's gonna kill one person? No, that's gonna kill like multiple people versus one that onto a track that's only gonna kill a few less people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those imagine getting in those. Imagine actually being tested for that, being in those situations and thinking you actually have the decision to make like that. That'd be too much for me.
Yeah, it depends on your morals. Like, do you save more people, or do you, if those 5 people are more important, or they would do more good? Like, which one? You know?
Right, and if you don't touch it, and you could see it as destiny. Like, I didn't touch it; it was meant to be this way. I didn't interfere.
Those trolley memes that were on Twitter were hilarious for a while.
Trolley memes?
There were memes on the trolley experiment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You never seen those?
No.
I'll find some.
Pull up. We'll in the description below. You guys can see.
Let's see. But for the Milgram study, I guess the one last thing on that, apparently there were 4 things. There were different levels up to 450 volts, they were told, and then they would first ask them. There were 4 prompts that would be read, and then if they refused, they would read the next prompt. So the first prompt was "Please continue." The second prompt was "The experiment requires you to continue." The third prompt was "Is absolutely essentially a continue." And the fourth prompt was "You have no other choice but to continue." And then apparently 65% of participants continued to the highest level of 450 volts. And then all the participants continued to 300 volts at least.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, apparently it was like a teacher and a learner type thing. They drew straws to determine their roles. The learner strapped to a chair after given a list. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the learner had to like learn a list of words, and then every time they were wrong, they had to shock them. And then basically they were always wrong, and they kept getting shocked. But yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what my results would be in that too, man. I think I'm just not gullible enough, bro. I wouldn't believe any experiments, man. You can't test me. You can't hypnotize me. You can't test me. I'm just too good for that.
I feel like I say that now, but then like in the hit of the moment, I feel like I would.
This has all actually been a psychology experiment. There's no podcast. That camera's not filming. You failed. You've been brainwashed.
Híjole de.
Now I'm concerned. What if it's not?
Dude, I don't know.
I think I want to hammer in one more point to you guys. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So, in high school, shout out Winnie Young. Everybody who's from Winnie Young, you gotta donate $10.
You Dolphin
game.
Okay.
If you got a full-time job, more. But we had to read a book in biology class that talked about the corn diet. Do you understand how intensely saturated our diet is with corn?
I know we eat a lot of it. I don't know.
It's amazing how much we eat as corn. So because corn is the number one commodity, one of the number one commodities that we have in the United States, they try to pack it in everywhere. It's corn, so whenever you eat corn by itself, popcorn. We discovered, oh, let's put it in the microwave. It tastes pretty good. Put butter on it, and we make sure it's a staple at every movie theater.
No, corn syrup is really like the high fructose corn syrup.
High fructose. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
Okay, we're not there yet.
No, we'll get to that. High fructose corn syrup has replaced sugar for almost anything, and they've lobbied to make sure that it's the same thing on your nutrition label, sugar, right? When it's not actually sugar, it's high fructose corn syrup. Very different. They put cornflakes. Cornflakes is a thing that we kind of went off
Oh, I
on
know cereal. Yeah, cereal's just really big here.
to sell it. We put it in our fuel for no reason. I honestly don't think it adds anything to our fuel.
Ethanol.
Ethanol, right? I don't think I think we're literally getting scammed to subsidize corn, and then it's in the feed that we feed the animals.
Yeah.
The animals are eating corn, and so the book talked about how everywhere is corn, and the issue is when your gut is only eating a certain type of food and it's not getting a full band of nutrition, it's very bad for you, right? And I mean, corn's not the worst thing, but it's also just one thing, right? And that's the issue, and that we're just getting every angle you look that even our meat is showing up is becoming less nutritious. Everything is becoming less nutritious because it's being monopolized and industrialized to be this one thing. So yeah, watch out. And then Hispanic people, tortilla land people, everything we do is corn because it was a staple of our. It's also a staple of our indigenous land. So like tortillas, a lot of our desserts, almost everything has like corn based to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to try our best to have an equal and fair diet for ourselves. Try to limit the corn.
Wait, so can like corn syrup be like labeled as sugar? Like,
I swear that they've lobbied this to make that a thing. I think that I think for sure Coca-Cola, I don't think it's natural sugar in our Coca-Cola anymore. I think it's corn syrup, which is why I think Mexican Coke is better.
Yeah, because they use the real sugar in that.
Because I think they use real sugar. Because Mexican Coke is better. We have standards. They're fact checking me on this.
Mm-hmm. Fructose is naturally produced fruit sugar. The name change. However, there's been a recent shift in the marketing of high fructose corn syrup. So manufacturers are trying to convince consumers that it's a natural sweetener by simply labeling it as fructose. The name change reported by the Corn Refiners Association came after the FDA rejected a corn syrup bid and is now being used to promote a product that is previously known as HFCS 90, meaning it is 90% pure fructose. Oh yeah, okay, the Sierra reported that from now on, products with 90% fructose will not state high fructose corn syrup, but instead read fructose or fructose syrup. Oh, so now they can, consumers can put on like cereal, no high fructose corn syrup, because it's a different name. Like, because it's just fructose or fructose.
Instead of being
corn syrup.
100%, it's 90%.
Or no, normally regular high fructose corn syrup contains 40 to 55%. This new one is 90%, but they call it fructose or fructose syrup. So then they can put no high fructose corn syrup.
I don't know if we have time for this, but I know there's one thing I've always kind of wondered is why is there not a centralized location for all the places we're getting scammed on as a people, especially in the United States.
We're getting what?
Scammed on as a people, you know, like especially in the United States. There's so many places like that. Eyesight, everything I brought up. There's so many things, little things, industries that are scamming the United States people that Congress, billionaires, corporations have hid from us. They've hid it because in capitalism, shadow capitalism, you got to donate down below. Everything's incentivized just to grow and make money and cut corners. And so who do we cut corners on? The people. And so I wish there was a centralized place for people to be educated on that they know that, like, okay, like now we all know that it's a common known thing in the world that we're getting scammed on the sugar. We're getting scammed on dairy, that we can't digest, like that most people cannot digest the calcium from dairy. Mm-hmm. And all these other things. Like I wish there was a really centralized place for that. Which congressmen are being fed, which congressmen are running for this certain point, this one piece of legislation, but they're actually getting paid by X company to to do the opposite. You know what I mean? I feel like that'd be so nice to have one centralized place for that. Call it corruption.org.
.org. It's government.
I just feel like there's so much to unpack that it would be like too draining. You know, you would need like a lot of momentum and a lot of people to like just dig through everything.
Well, you're right. Imagine if it existed right now. How often would you look at it? Let's say if that existed, corruption.org. Would you even look at it? They would have to teach it to us in school.
Yeah.
They would have, it would ha- and then we still have to go through the government. You know what I mean?
I feel like it is maybe or adjacent, but I feel like Wikipedia is a version of that where it's like kind of a centralized information place for information.
It's more like a web. I want like a tree.
You want a tree?
I want
So
like
what's the single source at the top?
the front, the homepage, and you can see exactly where you want to go. You know, food.
Well, yeah, well, it's Wikipedia.
Fitness.
No,
but like
it's Wikipedia for
Wikipedia
corruption.
has a lot more than just we're getting scammed. It has
Mhm.
it doesn't even have that most of the time. It just has the general information. It's an encyclopedia, right? But like I want just the information of how we're getting gypped. That's it. And just from there, everybody can know, and it can be known for the whole public to know.
It sounds like Wikipedia for scams.
For scams, yeah.
For scams, yeah.
For scams.
Yeah.
We need to have this.
Wikipedia is they lose money. That's the thing too. Is like they would need money to like do research into that or like free public contribution, and then it's like unfortunately the system we're set up in.
It'd be nice if
Not allowed for
it'd be
that.
nice if the government did it for
Well,
us,
there you go.
and the government wasn't corrupt,
Well, I mean,
and we could fight the
it'd be nice if
corruption.
the government just closed those loopholes. It'd be nice if the government did a lot of things. Shout out Motorola.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing us discuss a whole lot of stuff. Make sure you keep donations going, and yeah, keep supporting the rest of that telethon. I'm Arturo.
I'm Diego.
I'm Jaden. Bye.
Bye.